This video is quick follow-up on the performance of the Tilta Mini follow focus. I already used this for 5 weeks. I guess I shot around 500, maybe 1000 takes with it. So got some experience. Generally it is quite nice, but I spotted one flaw, which seems after investigation that it seems to be 2 flaws adding up, and one is rather related to the Smallrig rod connector than the Tilta Mini itself. When I was shooting stuff and trying to focus with the Tilta Mini, I've seen that there is some lag between when I turn the focus wheel and when actually focus ring starts turning. I was a bit surprised, so I checked what's going on. It seems there is a play in the follow focus itself, but there is also a play in the mount for the rod, and it doesn't matter which rod is installed, either it is the original one or the Smallrig carbon rod. This is the same, so it is not that the rod is bending, it rather seems that the clamp for the rod is bending. So try check this gap between the lens and the rod, and when I turn the wheel, maybe it would be better. Yeah, so when I turn the wheel, you can see that the gap is changing. So basically, when I rapidly move the wheel, the first thing that happens is that rod is moving up or down depending which side I move the wheel, and this generates some lag on the turn of the focus ring itself. And it seems that the whole movement is happening here, so the clamp is not stiff enough because it's really tight on the rod, so rod is not moving in the clamp, but this part seems it's maybe too skinny, and as you can see, the whole thing moves. The lens stays stationary in the mount, but the rod moves up and down, which generates a little bit of the lag. It might be the case that the original Tilta Mini clamp do not suffer from this, and it's totally different, but it does not fit the Smallrig cage. That's why I have to use the Smallrig ones. But this one, first of all, is a double clamp, and it is mounted to the camera like that. So this part might be stiffer than the version on the Smallrig, and probably there is no such play, but I cannot check it because I don't have a Tilta cage. So if someone got Tilta cage, can you check if your rod moves when you're focusing with Tilta Mini? This test was on Sigma 80-35, and generally the stiffer the lens is, the bigger the move is, because there is more force needed to move the focusing ring. So it is not that pronounced for smaller lenses like Canon 24 or 35, but it's still visible. So, and I've seen it using Canon 35, so it is still a thing. And another thing is that there is a play between the wheel and the gear, and seems that the play is inside the follow focus itself. It's not on the connection between the gear and the shaft, but it's something inside. So when I clamp quite tight the gear and I move the wheel, it still moves. I have to clamp it. So there is a bit of play inside. When I move the focus wheel, then there is a bit of a play between that move and when the gear starts moving. Not sure it's visible. It's not that big, but you can feel it under your thumb. So you move it and then the gear moves, because there is some play probably on the gears inside the follow focus itself. So those two combined, the stiffness of the clamp and this small play inside the follow focus, they combine a bit to create a lag when you try to focus it. So you turn it and the whole thing moves on the rod, and additionally there is some play here, so maybe it's easier to see like that. When I block the wheel, I can move the gear, but the focus ring is not moving. It's not very much, but it's like half a millimeter, maybe millimeter of a move. But on the, it depends on the lens, but on the lenses with longer focus throw and longer focus travel, it creates a bit of a lag and a delay on the focusing. Maybe it's not something very substantial, but it might be annoying sometimes when your subject is moving quite fast and you want to acquire focus quickly. You may be surprised that it's not that responsive, which is kind of strange that manual focus is not responsive, but it is in that case when those two flows are combined. Probably not an issue with the original clamp, but I cannot check it. So with the Smallrig clamp, it is a bit of an issue. It's not very major. And additionally, I think the connection between the wheel and the shaft, it's not that good. I mean, there is no play in the connection, because that's what I originally thought, that there is a play in this connection. I tried to screw it harder, but yeah, that's what she said. But it doesn't help, and it seems it's a quite nice fit. But basically there is some kind of the cross, and there is a groove on the shaft, and one goes into another, and they interlock. But it does not feel like it's gonna last. So that's another thing. But it's not some kind of the deal breaker, but it is visible. So you have to take in mind that with the follow focus mounted on a single rod, there is a bit of a play on the rod itself, and there is a bit of the play inside the Tilta Mini follow focus. But there is also a good news. I checked the original rod with Sigma 18-35, and it is enough to pull focus on this Sigma. So basically the follow focus is on the edge of the rod here, and this is just inside enough to be clamped, and the focus gear is just 1 millimeter of the edge of the focus ring of the Sigma. But with this configuration, you are able to use Tilta Mini with Blackmagic 6K and Sigma 18-35. So you don't need additional rods to use it with the Sigma, and Sigma is quite a long lens, so you are probably safe using original rod with almost any lens. That's a good news. Cheers, mate.